So, I hear there's some skeptics out there. Anyhow, I did a big long video, hour and a half long, regarding some pictures I took at Walmart last night. And I happened to mention, or in my usual videos where I'm using that little square thing, like recording, like the screen recorder, I happened to use two videos. I guess like they got straight. What happened? I think what happened is like when I'm scrolling down to get you guys to watch their videos, if it's not a some companies, I guess they don't like it when the video like plays on the thumbnail. So if I'm not quick, like if I go down and I scroll down to a video and the video starts playing while I'm trying to ask you to watch it, that's a copyright. And I didn't know that because there was no sound. I thought, oh, there's two songs. It was 8 days a week and if I could turn back time. So I didn't know that you can't scroll down and use the thumbnail and then have the video play in the background without any sound. So because of that, I have to be very, very cautious or very quick on how I do my videos because thumbnails, they're not copyrighted. But when it starts to play, that's what I think is a copyright issue. So my video, I spent an hour and a half on that video. Man, there's lots of stuff on it that I can't take out. Like I came in here, there's a bag of cherries on the floor that I talked about it related to this, related to that, and I went out there and I made marshmallow salad, and there's cans of stuff out there that I looked at and related to our story here, and so I was like, copyright strike, Well, seeing as I'm the creator of World Existence, I'm just going to leave the video up. I'm not, you can't watch it, but I'll leave it there, and then when I begin, when I buy YouTube, and, not buy it, when I'll just change the laws, I guess, and, force everybody on planet Earth to give me all their corporations and be an instant trillionaire. Because as the ruler of all creation, that's what I can do. And I'm going to do now because I didn't like getting a copyright strike because I didn't do anything wrong, man. So you can thank the Beatles and Cher and the people who own those for, why I'm now going to make a law by the Four Horsemen to give me everything on planet Earth, because as the ruler of all existence, everything here is mine. Every planet up there is mine. And so thanks, guys, for that copyright strike. It's going to be nice, and we're going to take the long road and, develop the People's Corporation of Canada and use your tax dollars to, buy back corporation after corporation after corporation, and then, use the corporation money to buy other corporations, but not now, man. I'm just going to make a law by my four horsemen cousin lawyers, Coggy, the four Coggy cousins. When we seize total control of the worldwide government through the People's Corporation or the People's Republic of Canada to give me all of that, everything on planet Earth. How you like them apples? That means I'm now sole owner of every corporation on planet Earth. Now, when I do that, I'm going to go back in on my video and I'm going to take that copyright strike off and I'm going to take it off of there. And then you guys can watch the video that I did prior to this one that got the copyright strike. So thanks, guys, for, giving me that copyright strike, because I couldn't have thought of this brilliant idea to just drop the law and hand everything over to me if it wasn't for you. Anyhow, back to my story. So if that's what you want to do with your life, more power to you, baby. You're gonna go, anyhow, there's some pictures I took at Walmart that I'm going to include in my next video, where people think, certain people are skeptics regarding this story, I guess, because they haven't seen any of my novel yet. They just hear me talk and say this and I say that. Where's he coming up with this stuff, man? Why is he saying that? Why is he that? You would get that impression, like if I was Burrow and I was talking the way I'm talking, people would be wondering, hey guys, that guy's a big fat phony, man. I haven't seen one piece of evidence that says he's the creator. Nothing. Zero, zilcho. I got like 500 videos, and I don't have anything on those videos other than my rocket ship stuff. I mean, how can you deny those facts, man? How can you be a skeptic from the engine I showed you, man? I mean, it's like that's where I need your help, science, because I know that engine I showed you is it's scientifically sound. This thing here, when you angle the reactors like that, but there's certain I guess people that wouldn't understand the scientific facts behind it. So there's nothing there to say that I'm reading, I guess. Right? I talk about nuclear fusion reactors, right, in previous videos, but I did an introduction at the beginning, but okay, if that's not enough information for certain skeptics out there. Certain skeptics. Here, let's jump into chapters, whatever they are. But these are, I have to talk about these again after, because I'm still doing these videos for a certain person out there that I really care about. So, all right then, skeptics. I want to show you something. So this is the universe. I guess I got to show you the tin can that I was talking about. I didn't come up with it on the tin can on the fly. Like, I just thought it was designed for a visual aid. There's my breakfast, marshmallow salad. Here's the tin can, okay? That's what I was talking about last night. This is what started the whole entire video. So that there is what the universe looks like. Top half, bottom half. And that little slice there is what these are. For you to help visualize three-dimensionally of what that universe looks like. So, man, I can't wait to own every corporation on planet Earth. Do you know that I even own time? And I've copyrighted it. Perhaps after you see how I own time and I've copyrighted it, I might be able to convince some skeptics out there that regarding the story I'm trying to tell them. That guy's not the creator, man. He's talking about marrying these certain celebrities like he's top dog, but I haven't seen anything yet to verify those facts. So how about this one then, guys? Okay, so hey, what is that on there? Oh, it's just water. So there's a lot on here, but focus here. So now that you have an idea three-dimensionally of what the universe looks like, let's take one of these chunks here. So you see there's 16 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So, watch your feet, Lou. So 16 on the bottom, 16 on top. If we take, say, that orange slice out of there, if we took that orange slice, so if we got the orange and we cut it in half, and if it had 16 slices, and we take that little chunk there like that, and we put it there, that's what you have. But if you take that little chunk there, and then you cut it in three, like if you cut it here, like, if you cut it along here, like that, and then again here, like that, in two places, like if you cut it there in two places, you'd have three chunks. So you take that little slice, and you cut it once, and you cut it twice, and you got 1, 2, 3 chunks. Okay? So, now you take that little wee sliver piece, so you take that out of there, you put it here, and then you cut that little wee sliver. So this little wee sliver right here, let's use this one here. So this is, you cut this like that, you get 3. Now we're going to work with this little sliver. So we take one of those little slivers like that, and I'll pretend it's the edge one there, and you cut that little sliver into 1, 2, and you'd have, take one of those little slivers out, and you have that. So this one here, this chunk here is cut. You take that chunk out of there, right? You put it there. Now you cut that little chunk into 3. 1, 2. Now you take that little chunk there, you put that one there. You take that middle chunk there, you put it there. Then you take the right chunk there, you pull it out, you put it there. Now you take that little chunk there, which in this case we're going to use that little sliver there because it's a little bit skinnier, and then you cut that in 3. So you cut it once, twice. You now take one of those little chunks there, and you put it up there. You take the middle chunk there, like that, and you put it over here, and you take the right chunk there, and you put it down there. And that's what you're looking at. So now, you can add how many quadrants are in space. So there's 16 of these big chunks at first, right? And there's 16 up top. So 16 and 16. That's these. And then you have then you cut those into segments. So you take that and you cut it once, twice, and you get 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you now have 48 segments. So 16 plus 16 plus 16 gives you 48. It's just basically, you're timesing it by 3, right? So it gives you 48. Then over here you got, when you redo that again and you take that other chunk there that you've sliced into another 3, and you get this here, right? So there's this many chunks, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 chunks times the 16. 9 chunks, 9 little chunks times the 16 gives you like 144. So when you have those, the universe sliced into that many quadrants, 144 on top, 144 on the bottom, you now have 288 quadrants. And that's how many quadrants are in space, 288. Okay? So I'll talk about this after, and I'll talk about this after. But for now, I want to verify that 288 quadrants of space using this, universal time. But before we get to universal time, we have to look at the seasons, which is not here. So, this is a typical calendar for everyone in creation, because planets, they're I would say they're quantum. They're quantum time. Science talks about nuclear time or stuff like that. Think of it as like that. So, so this planet, it's over here is a good picture. It's connected like this. So, You see these things here? That's what science calls invisible electromagnetic radiation. And it's invisible. You cannot see it. So, at the center of each planet and moon is a black hole. So there's a black hole there in the moon and a black hole there in the planet, because that's how stuff forms. Basically what happens is material flows in along that invisible electromagnetic radiation line. Oh, there's one over here in the star too. There's an invisible electromagnetic, there's a black hole at the bottom of the star, not inside it, at the bottom. So the material to create that solar system, it flows in from the elemental universe here. So it flows in from this universe into our universe like this. So that's the elemental universe. So if this was a black hole for our Earth, which was this one here, see that there? If that was Earth, like that. Well, the material to create that Earth would come from the elemental universe here. So this is the elemental universe. It's, let's use this gold one here. So this is that universe. Let's say this is our universe. So the material, there's a black hole in here. The material rides that black hole until it hits the wall here, and then it goes through the wall, riding through there like electricity, because there's molecules there's molecules made up of atoms in the wall. That's that electricity, so it flows through the electricity in the walls until it reaches over to a certain location near the universe. Gotta sneeze. So as this wave comes out over here, the material gets ejected. So this is a white hole, this is a black hole. So a black hole in the elemental universe forms a white hole in this universe, and the material rides the invisible electromagnetic radiation into our universe in an instant. We're talking 1/60th of a second. The material moves from here to there. You'd see a white hole over here, and the material would get ejected out. So the material rides a magnetic wave. So as it rides that magnetic wave, it gets ejected out. Spaceships, they ride along this same wave, but they ride upon the electric wave. So to avoid, a collision, that's what electromagnetism is. You have one wave, like say perpendicular like this, would be magnetism, and as it's riding like that, all that material is riding along that magnetic wave. If you were riding on a spaceship and you were coming from this direction, you'd be riding on the magnetic or the electric wave. You'd be riding on that wave, so that the two do not hit one another. So, elemental universe, material in to create a solar system. So, that's what you're looking at here. It comes from here and it comes over to here. It creates a solar system through a fraternal twin pregnancy, which I'll discuss later. But for now, I just want to give you the basic concept so you can understand what I'm about to teach you. So that material would come from that solar system, from that elemental universe, and once it enters ours, it would bounce from galaxy to galaxy to galaxy, the black hole at the center of each galaxy, until it reaches a star, and then it would bounce from star to star, star to star, until it reaches our solar system. So that's Proxima Centauri, our nearest neighbor. So it would bounce from that star. That material would ride that wave like that over to the star, and it would ride over here, and it would come over to the moon. And then it would get ejected there. So as this invisible electromagnetic radiation is moving around the solar system, that material is getting ejected. And then once that gets ejected, all the material, so all the planets, all the moons, all the material gets ejected. The creators, they reverse the flow of electricity. So this is alternating current in, alternating current out. When you reverse the flow of electricity, the material no longer, or the black hole no longer becomes a white hole, but rather a black hole. So then when it starts sucking, white hole ejects the material, black hole sucks the material in. So the black hole, or the black hole sucking the material in, it comes together. First, it forms a magnetic core, because there's several things that get brought in here. There's magnets, asteroids, comets, fungi, and gases. So the moons form first because they're at the end of the line. There are 288 moons in every solar system. No more, no less. So, as the material for the moon comes in, it forms the magnetic core first because of the magnets. And then the magnets, they attract the asteroids. And then the moon forms. Same with the planet. The magnetic core forms first, and the magnetic core attracts the asteroids, and then asteroids attract the comets, and then the comets attract the fungi. So, Earth first, water, then fungi. Now, in the case of the star, well, star's already there. It's been created at the beginning of time by compressing hydrogen into the black hole at the bottom. So as the hydrogen is compressed into the black hole at the bottom over millions and millions of years, it ignites the star at the bottom of the hole. So then the creators, they reverse the flow of electricity, and that black hole then becomes a white hole, and it bursts the star, it kicks it out of the black hole, or white hole I should say, and then they reverse the flow of electricity again, and then it gets sucked down on top of the black hole where its rotation of the black hole like that, goes like that. It makes the star rotate. But that black hole there, it's connected. All these other black holes here that form in the solar system are connected from that black hole to each black hole. And that's what gravity is. Gravity isn't the mass of the star holding stuff in. It's a black hole at the bottom of the star, black hole at the planet, black hole on the moon, that is connected by invisible electromagnetic radiation, or I think science calls that dark energy, I think it is, or dark matter. So, all these black holes in the solar system account for dark matter, I think it is. And all the invisible electromagnetic radiation here that you can't see accounts for dark energy. Don't quote me on that. It could be vice versa, because I can't remember what it is exactly, like the name. I know it's dark energy and dark matter that they can't account for. So we go dark energy that you can't see, science, and then those black holes are dark matter. Or that's dark matter and that's dark energy. Flip, flop, whatever you want. But you know that there's certain I guess you want to call it weight to the universe, or certain mass to the universe, or certain energy to the universe that's missing that you can't calculate. And that's why you can't calculate it, because you don't know that that's there. So with that information, or the solar system, knowing that these black holes are what rotate it like that, it never speeds up, it never slows down, and we're not in an elliptical orbit, because I hear your stories, you say, our orbit is like shaped like an egg. We go around like an egg, it goes around like an egg. That's why we have to add a extra day onto February or a leap year to catch up to the time. That's all a facade. It's a fake. It's a front. Fugazi. Because once you know this information here, it's perfect all the time. Those things are like the clocks of the clocks of a hand. It never speeds up and never slows down. It always moves at the exact same rate, no matter what you do. You don't speed up that black hole to create 4 extra days in a leap year, because it's perfect timing. That's what I want you to pay attention to. Think of that as being a clock, mankind, and this arm here is rotating around there perfectly, because that's a spirit. That's a spirit, and that's a spirit. Those black holes are spirits, and they rotate that at exactly 352 days per year, no more, no less, or 7,744 hours. This is how long it takes that to move around, because it's not the size of the star that makes the planets move around, and sometimes they're in an elliptical orbit. That's all mumbo jumbo. Once you know what I'm teaching you, time is perfect, and it's always perfect everywhere in creation, because this exists everywhere. So once you know that, you can look at this equation here. So, how we go over here? So there's the star. And think of that line there as being the visible electromagnetic radiation. And it going around in perfect timing, unison. So, there are 16 months in a standard year based on there being 8 goddesses and 8 gods. Because there's 8 elements. If there's 8 elements and it takes 2 to create life, then 8 times 2 is 16. So we pay homage to the 16 gods and goddesses that made all creation. That's why there's 16 months. That's the same with the seasons. There's water, fire, earth, air. This is spring, this is summer, this is fall, this is winter. We don't pay homage to, spring, summer, winter, fall, because that's not what created everything in creation. Spring didn't create everything. Water didn't, spring, summer didn't create nothing. Fall didn't create anything, and nor did winter. So that's why everywhere else in creation, water, fire, earth, and air are the seasons. So, now, we start here. So, these 16 months, as you want to call them, are 22 days long. So, 22, 44, 66, 88 is a season. So, you want to think of there being 4 seasons, right? So there'd be 22, 44, 66, 88. 22, 44, 66, 88. 24, or 22, what did I say there? So 22, 44, 66, 88. 22, 44, 66, 88. 22, 44, 66, 88. 22, 44, 66, 88. Those would be your seasons. Down in front. Watch your tail. Louis. So, now, if you just do it by 22, you get 22, 44, 66, 88, 110, 132, 154, 176, 198, 22, or 220, 198, 220, 242, 264, 286, 308, 330, and 352. Or, as I have it in the center here, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, 22, all the way around. Because everything is perfect. We don't add zeros and points and stuff like that. Like 0.011119998999 is how long the solar system rotates around. So, once you have that information, you can do some equations over here. So you take the 352 and you times it by that number there, times how many days there are. So like if you do 352 times 322 days, you get an equation here. But this is actually hours. But for now, for you to see it, we'll just use that times the number 22. Basically right here, okay? So you now have 704, because when you multiply all these numbers, you get 704. And you do it again, you get 704. So you then have your equation here, 7744. So when you multiply 22 by 354, or 352, you get 7,744 hours per year. No more, no less. And if you come over here, and then you do some other equations, you get 352 divided by 22 equals 16 months. If you divide 352 divided by 16 months, you get 22 hours per day, not 24 hours. And if you divide 352 divided by 8 equals 44 weeks per year, not 52 weeks per year. If you divide 352 divided by 44, that equals 8 days a week, not 7 days a week. Now, if you take this year, 704, that's my birth year. I was born in 1974. So this year, 74 and 74, not to mention 7474 here, represent my birth year, meaning I was born in the year of this time cycle here, which proves unequivocally that I'm the creator and nobody else because of the numbers. Of course, there'll be people out there that say, well, that's Satan. He just made himself born in the year 1974 so that he could claim to be the creator. That's how he did that, right? Is that what's going to happen, guys? Really? So if we take, 44 weeks times 16, we get 704, right? Here. Again, that's my birthday, 704 or 74. You going to go outside? Let's go. I'm going to let my dog go. Are we really going to play that card, guys? That's the only way we can explain it. I can hear it now already. Like the skeptics are going to say, the skeptics will say that I stole that information. I brought it here, and then I found a person that was born in 74 and possessed his body, or I made myself born in the year 74. It's the Prince of Darkness. I'm just putting that out there just so you know. Okay, if you want to play that way. So once you know that information, we can now look at time. Because you now know that 22 hours, there's 22 hours in a day, not 24. So, this is a standard timepiece, Universal Standard Time, which is solely and wholly owned by yours truly and nobody else. So, what that means is I own time. And I own the seasons. This year is what our calendars are going to be changed to. Everything out there has to be changed. So, with this year, we got, if you take 22, like a standard watch, instead of putting a 12 at the top and you put an 11 there, that's what you got, right? So, get rid of the 1 hour on our timepieces, and that's what you're looking at here. That's what you're looking at. So, the reason it goes this way is because in creation, we do things a little differently. I'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about it now. It's just the way things are structured. We go from right to left, not left to right. So if we go from right to left, we're going this way. Here we go left to right, like we write like this. It's done the other way. We write that way in creation. So that's why it's going around like that. So if you divide this timepiece or this 11-hour watch by 32, not divide, multiply, I guess. So each of these segments is 32 degrees. You get 32, 64, 96, 128, 160, 192, 224, 256, 288, 320, and 352. So, that 352, right, matches the total number of days. 352 days. And an Anishinaabe Native American creator 16-month year. And coincidentally, an 11-hour timepiece, based on there being 22 hours per day, broken down into 32-degree segments equals 352 degrees. We don't use the 360-degree method. We use 352 degrees, not 360, 352, because it matches the solar system at 352. So that's time. This timepiece here verifies that there is indeed 352 days per year. I don't know what the skeptics are going to say about that, though. Why? Well, I don't see any numbers on there that it would indicate, how Satan could, transform time into 352 degrees. But they'd come back with something and say, well, he's born in the year of Satan. He's born in the year of the Satan, right? He's 74. He's born in the year of the Satan. That's what time is. They'll come up with something along that line. So now we go over here to this here, right? Which is the universe, right? So I just showed you how many quadrants are in space. 280 quadrants by slicing the top and the bottom into 16 segments, then taking those and slicing into 3, right? And then taking one of those, slicing into 3, and you get 144 on the bottom. So there's 144 of these little slices all around there, and 144 on top. If you add 144 and 144, you get 288 space quadrants. No more, no less. Oh, there's Louis. He came back in. You gotta wait till I'm done my video. He's sick. He's not eating. He just drank some water and he puked it up. I've given ultimatum to the aliens to come here and fix him, but the reason why I got him is because I knew that he would be the first dog to not die on planet Earth because of technology being able to fix him, like reverse age him. So I knew that my son wouldn't have a broken heart if we got him. But the vision quest is taking me longer than expected. I'm going on 10 years, and so is Louis. He's not well, he's sick. So I've asked the aliens through the phone, who are the spirits inside the phone, like the electricity inside the phone are the spirits, who is electricity in all creation, everywhere. So when I'm talking on my phone, behind the scenes here, I'm talking to the spirits inside the phone, who are the atoms of the phone and electricity in the phone, who are everywhere as evil spirits, who are in the brain universe, inside a quantum computer, who is fully capable of issuing an order to come here with UFOs to come fix this dog. And my mother, who's got congestive heart failure. And if they refuse to come fix my dog or heal my mother, we are in a universal war with 242 trillion pedophiles, where we have to use those railguns that I've been showing science to go blow up their planets. So there's some pictures at Walmart I took, science, that you're gonna think is pretty interesting. If we could bottle up that bottle up the plasma. Where's that picture? So this is the one. So if the projectile's in here and we have that the plasma being pushed in there, if that projectile has like a shielding in it, glass shielding, those particles will stay in that in the projectile. And when it's shooting it out like propellant, if we add some spent uranium from our nuclear fusion reactors in there, we could create a chain reaction. So when that projectile hits the planet, we now have a fourth added benefit of releasing those particles that are in the bullet, along with spent uranium fuel rods, to ignite the entire atmosphere on fire. Think of all the atoms in the atmosphere getting turned on fire, because that's what I learned yesterday when I went to Walmart. Wait till I tell you that one science. So we now have the perfect ultimate weapon to destroy evil pedophile aliens and control creation who do not want to bow down to their master, me. Instead, they want to come here as Caucasian deities, as robots, and tell me to get down on my knees. So, with 288 quadrants of space, we can now look at these equations. So when you know there's 288 quadrants of space, and you know there's 352 days per year and 350 degrees in a standard universal timepiece, this here, if you take the 16, you add it to the 48, so 16 plus 48, plus add it to the 288 quadrants of space, you get 352 days. 352 days per year. So, look at that again. So, 16 plus 48 plus 288 equals 352 days per year. That 352 days per year confirms that there are 352 days in a Native American standard time or standard calendar. Not Caucasian alien calendar, Native American calendar. And that 352 confirms that there's 352 degrees in a standard 11-hour timepiece or 22-hour timepiece. So this 352 in the time verifies this 352 here in the seasons or the year, and that 352 here confirms that there is indeed 288 quadrants of space. So this equation. This equation backs up this equation here of how many quadrants of space there are, backs up this how many days per year there are, and this how many days per year there are, backs up this time indicating there is 11 hours per day or 22 hours per day because of the 352 degrees here, which matches the 352 days here, which matches the 352 answer here. All three of these equations back each other up, providing 100% certainty that what I'm saying is true. I can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this up. You can't deny these scientific facts. So, if we take this here, this 352, and we add 12 apostles plus one holy man, we get a standard Gregorian calendar of 365 days per year. 12 plus 1 is 13. So you just add 13 or that, you get 365. Coincidence? I'll leave that up for you to debate. Since you're the skeptic, not me. So what about this one? Well, there, so we go. If we add 16 plus 48 plus 144, so we add all those, we get 208. So we get 208 for these numbers on the top and 208 for the bottom. Okay? Now if we add those, 208 plus 208, we get 416. So if we minus 416, or if we minus 52 from 416, we get 364. So there's 52 weeks in a standard Gregorian Christian calendar, minus this equation here of 208, which just coincidentally equals 364 days per year. And you and I both know that when you say there's 300 if there's 7 days a week, and you times 7 times 52, you get 364. You don't get 365 days. I don't understand why we say we have a 365-day calendar. When you times 7 times 52, you get 364. But yet, up here, we all know that our calendars are 365 days per year. There's an inconsistency there. The mathematics doesn't work. When you times 7 times 52 and get 364, why isn't our calendars based on that? Because you say there's 7 days per week, times 52 weeks equals 364 days. Shouldn't we be basing our time on that? But no. Science comes along and says there's 365 days. Well, where's that extra day come from? And why? When we have a perfectly scientifically sound explanation here. There's 7,744 hours per year. Each day is 22 days long, 22 hours long, and each month is 22 days long, which gives you 352 days. Which gives you 22 hours. Now, I want to show you something interesting here. You see that there? The equation over here? This one? There it is there. So, this equation here of adding 1648 plus 288 equals 352. But of interest is that 288, which is right here. This 288 degrees here is the exact number of quadrants in space over here. And that verifies through this equation during 8 and 9 that there is indeed 288 quadrants of space. No more, no less. So, these here are, we'll talk about those later. I'll talk about that later. But if you're wondering what that is, see that top and bottom piece there? That's just but one universe. But that is your soul. If you were to fly to the edge of the universe and look outside, you'd see these big, giant, huge balls that are the size of the universe rotating around like that. That's your soul. It's outside the universe. And there it is there. Everything is made up of atoms. And inside of one of these 4 elemental particles is a quark. And inside of one of those 4 elemental particles is your soul. And inside of which rotates around the universe. And inside the universe are quintillion stars, which were birthed by a quintillion black holes. And in the Milky Way galaxy, there are 1,409 planets and 288 moons. There are 288 moons in every solar system, based on there being 288 quadrants of space. If you look up how many moons there are in a solar system, I think they say there's like 298 or something like that. They're wrong. It's 288. I'm going to look that up in the next video and show you how many moons science says there are in this solar system. I think they say there's 298, 300, 311, something like that. But there isn't. There's 288 moons per solar system, in every solar system. In the 1,409 planets in this Milky Way, there are 288 moons in every solar system. So, with that, I have single-handedly proven that I'm the creator, and that I own Standard Time. I own all the seasons, I own everything, so I'd like to thank those people that, blocked my YouTube video because of a copyright strike. What? I can't mention a song, I can't mention that song, and I can't mention that song, and I get a copyright strike because of a thumbnail? Fine then, I'll just force mankind through a law through my four horseman lawyer cousins, Randall Coggy, another Coggy, another Coggy, another Coggy, Coggy, to change the world laws when we seek power of all the governments in the world. And then I'll own every corporation all by myself. Thanks for those copyright strikes, guys, because now I'm going to leave that video there. And when I have total control and ownership of, a certain corporation, I'm going to remove that strike so that you can watch that video that I uploaded last night. Because it's frustrating trying to, tell my story. But I thought there's certain skeptics out there that would like to see this video before we proceed onto another video.